Good day, guys. Welcome back to another episode. So it is time for me to change the oil in my 2015 Scat Pack Challenger. I just wanted to make a how to change your oil in a 392 video to help any of you out that might need help doing it. I have one for the 3.6 liter Pentastar, and that has helped a lot of people out. I love making videos that is helpful for you, and I love seeing comments that is saying I've never changed my oil before, but watching your video I feel confident and I was able to do it. That means the world to me. That's why I love making videos. I love doing this stuff for you guys. So this is going to be on a 392. So like I said, it's a 2015 Challenger Scat Pack with a 6.4 liter. And we are going to be changing the oil and oil filter in it. I will show you the tools that you're going to need, the oil that you'll need. The oil that I'm using is factory recommended oil. I just stick with it, and I use a Mopar filter. Oil and filters is a whole nother topic. I don't want to get off onto that. Everyone has their own preferences. Mine is just using what the OEM calls for and uses. I just like keeping it that way. I haven't had any problems, so that's what I like to do personally. But feel free to use whatever filter and whatever oil you want to use. I would just stick with the recommended weight of the oil for the application. So I will show you the tools needed, the oil, filter, and any kind of little tips or anything like that that I can help you with and show you. And also remember, with any of your used oil that you drain out, part stores accept oil. A lot of places accept used oil for free, so please dispose of your oil properly. Don't be dumping it down the gutters or out in a field. It's easy to do. It's easy to take it to a part store. It's easy to take it somewhere that gladly accepts oil. So like I said, we will be doing the oil change on this, and hopefully this video is helpful and informative. But let's go ahead, get over there. I'll show you the oil, the drain pan, that kind of stuff, and we will get started on this oil change. So the first thing I'd like to mention is, you can see I use just some wood coming up to these ramps, because on the Scat Packs, the front lip on the front bumper will hit these ramps. These are just a cheap ramp that you can get at a part store. They're nothing special, but I just like putting wood on the back so we don't scrape coming up. I don't jack the car up. I just drive it up onto those ramps. But then you're also going to need a drain pan for your oil. Yes, there's oil in there. I have enough room to put the rest of the oil in. And then up top, this is the Mopar filter. The MO899 is the filter that I will be using. These bottles do look different. Pennzoil has changed the look of their Ultra Platinum. This is what Mopar recommends, is a 0W40 Ultra Platinum full synthetic. The bottle is branded SRT, so maybe they're just branding it, selling it for more. I don't really know, but this was their older style bottle, and this is the new style. So this is what you'll be seeing, and this is what you'll need, but it is still the same thing. The Ultra Platinum 0W40. But it's not going to hurt to mix these, because it's the same exact oil, just different bottles and different branding. The first thing I like to do is, up top, I like to remove my oil fill cap. I just remove the oil fill cap, that way the engine kind of vents and breathes better when you're draining the oil. So I just take it off, leave it off, and then we will head under the car, remove the skid plate and the drain plug and filter and all of that. But we'll get under there. I'll get the camera set up so we can check it all out and see what tools are needed for what parts that we are taking off or putting back on. So this is up underneath the front of the car, and it shows that you need to remove this service panel. You have 4 bolts. There is one here, the other one is right here. Then you have one at the back corner and the back corner. So there's 4 total. That is a 10 millimeters. You'll need a 10 millimeter socket and ratchet, and remove all 4 of those. This plastic skid plate will slide back and drop down, and then just slide it out of your way. So now looking, we are kind of upside down, but this up here is the front of the car. This is the passenger side. This is where your oil filter is. And then on the back side of your drain pan, right here is your oil plug. So we're going to need to remove this oil drain plug and drain the oil out. You want to make sure you put your oil pan back far enough, because this oil will shoot out quite a ways. I'll show you how far back once we start draining that. And then I'll show you just spinning off this old oil filter. It will drain oil down around it as well, so you're gonna wanna have the drain pan up underneath of it. So for the oil drain plug, you're going to need a 13mm socket and ratchet. Put your drain pan back here, so you just have just barely enough for it to dribble down in, but it's far enough back for that oil to shoot into. And then go ahead and remove your drain plug. As you can see, that oil is shooting back quite a ways, but now you'll want to get a rag and wipe off your drain plug, wipe off your hands and any little bit that's dribbled around. And then once this oil started slowing down draining like it has, I like to just slide my pan over and towards the front where the oil filter is up here. And then this is the filter wrench that I'm using. You can use a band style, it doesn't really matter. Just something to get up under here and get a grip on this oil filter to loosen it up. Like I said, this will start leaking oil down around it, so just keep that in mind, especially if your oil is hot. So just like that there, and then just let your oil filter drain the oil out of it. So now that the oil filter is slowing down a bit, I'm going to just unscrew it by hand here and then just put it in the oil drain pan. As you can see, a rag is definitely going to be a necessity, so have a few of those handy. So one thing you want to do is you want to look at the drain plug, check the seal out around here, make sure there's no rips or tears in it, clean it up good, and as you can tell, this one is good. There's nothing wrong with it. The other thing you want to make sure is up here on this filter housing, around this outside, just take a rag and wipe it down. Make sure your rag is clean, but just do that to make sure that the seal from the oil filter is not stuck up here, and this one is not. If it is stuck up there, make sure you remove it, because if you don't, you will have a big oil leak when you start the car. So one thing that's good to do with your new oil filter is to take one of your fresh quarts of oil, just open it up, get a little bit of oil on your finger. You don't need a whole lot, you just need just a little bit, and then wipe it on the seal. This will help that seal from binding up or rolling when you screw it onto the filter base. So make sure you lube that seal up. And then take your new filter and just spin it on. Make sure that you do not cross thread it, so just spin it on by hand. Just like that until it gets snug, and then I like to go till it's snug and then a half a turn. So right there. And then the next step will be taking your oil drain plug and putting it back in. Once again, screw it all the way in by hand to make sure you're not cross-threading. Then I like to wipe off any of the oil around it that was dribbling down. And then take your 13mm socket and ratchet and tighten this drain plug down. I do not know the torque. I do not know the torque of this drain plug. You could call the dealer and they would probably tell you. Sorry, I do not have that information. I just like to go tight. This is a aluminum pan, so you don't want to go too tight and strip it out. So I just like to go to what I know feels snug, which is right in there. It is tight, it's not loose, but it is not overly tight. So we've got the oil filter on, drain plugs back in, slide your oil pan out of the way, and then put the skid plate back up in here with the 4 bolts, and that'll take the 10mm socket. And then you'll just want to snug those 4 bolts down with your socket and ratchet. And I just like to go back over them and check all of them. These are a small bolt. They're only holding on this plastic skid plate. They don't need to be crazy tight. And then that is all we got to do underneath the car, and then the rest will be up top. So now the only thing left up top is just have a nice clean funnel. Stick it in there. Add your 7 quarts is what it takes. So go ahead and add 7 quarts of oil to it. So now we've got the 7 quarts added. I just like to use a rag, take my funnel out so I don't drip any oil anywhere, and hold it. Go ahead and put your oil fill cap back on. And then the next part I want to show you will be in the car. At this point we do not need to check the oil because the car is up on the ramps. It'll give you an inaccurate reading, but we need to get in the car, start it up, and I want to show you a few things that I like to do. Okay, so here in the car, a thing that I like to do is don't start it. Just turn it to run. Door has to be shut. And I like to go to vehicle info. Scroll on over to your oil pressure. This will let you monitor it when you start it to make sure that it's getting its oil pressure. So leave it on that gauge there. Go ahead, step on your brake and start the car. And of course it pops that up because the filter is not pre-filled. I do want to talk about that. But let's finish this up first. So we do have oil pressure. So the next thing, the next thing that you want to do is make sure that it's not leaking any oil. This is from me changing it. So just look under the front of the car, look up at the skid plate, just to make sure that it is not leaking any oil. We do not have any, so we are good. So the next thing I will do is I will back it off of the ramps, get it on a level surface, and we'll check the oil level. Okay, so we've got it backed off of the ramps. The new oil filter, oil, we get the oil pressure. So now we need to check the oil level. So pull your dipstick out. The first time you're gonna wanna just wipe it off because the oil that's on there will give you an inaccurate reading. Put it back in, take it out, and verify that you have a proper oil level. It's hard to see because this oil is new and clear. You can use your towel or your rag to see where it's at, and it is in the full range. So we are perfect. So go ahead and put your dipstick back in. The oil level's full. We don't have any leaks. We've got the new oil in there, new filter, plugs tight, filters tight, skid plates put back in, oil level is correct. So that is how to change the oil on your 392 or 6.4 liter. It is very easy to do. Personally, it's well worth it because you personally are doing it to your own car, so you know the drain plug's tight, the filter's tight, it has the right oil in it, it has the proper oil level. They didn't drain half of the oil out and put half new in to try to save their costs. You know it was done right. The next thing I suggest doing is writing down your mileage, keeping track of your mileage at whatever interval that is that you want to change it at. You can go off of factory recommendations. You can do it sooner, you can do it later. Like I said, with oil, with mileage, and also the topic of the oil filter that I wanted to hit on, those are all personal preferences. So the oil filter, some people are going to tell me you need to pre-fill that. Some people are going to say not pre-fill it. I do not pre-fill my filters simply for the fact you have a clean side and a dirty side. Yes, you are adding fresh, clean oil into that filter, but you have dirt and all kinds of contaminants around you, silica in the air, there's dirt in the air. When you're pouring that fresh oil into that filter to pre-fill it, you're getting that on the dirty side and the clean side. So for that split second that the car's running, to fill that filter before it gets its oil pressure is not going to hurt the engine, and it is going to put that dirty oil on the dirty side of the filter element and the clean oil on the clean side. I'm not here to debate that. I'm not here to debate oil, what intervals of mileage needs to be changed, if or if not you should pre-fill your filter. I am here to just simply give you a good, thorough video on how to change your oil. That is all personal preference things, and like I said, I don't want to get into it. But hopefully this video is helpful and informative for you. If you have not changed your oil, hopefully this video will help you change the oil on your car, give you the confidence that you need to show you how easy it really is, seeing the tools that you're going to need, and a step-by-step process. That is literally everything there is to doing it. That is step-by-step that I just showed you, and I really hope that this video is helpful and informative. If you like this video, remember to hit that thumbs up. Drop a comment below if this video helped you, if this video was informative, if you just liked it. I love hearing your guys' comments. I love getting back and chatting with you, and I value your opinions and your comments, and it just means the world to me when you tell me that my video has helped you out in some way, shape, or form. But I really appreciate you stopping and checking out this video, and I'll catch you on the next one, and until then, take care.